John, thank you so much. Indeed, back up here in the booth after wrapping things up with victory lane for the drivers in the Indy USF 2000 program. Again, these are the kids you're going to see in Indy Pro next year, getting ready to fire things up. And indeed, Louis Foster could put himself in a really good position today. He comes in with a significant point lead of 19 markers. 33 is kind of the number you want to hit, because that's the most points you can get on a race weekend. 30 for the race win, 1 for pole, 1 for most laps led, and 1 for the fast lap of the race. So 33 points is the most you can get. So let's say 34. That's that full race cushion. Only 19 right now, but a couple of pole position starts as Louis Foster for Exclusive Autosport, the driver out of England, will be starting on the pole for the second race this afternoon, which is set to go green at 5:55. Kiko Porto, though, what a great starting spot for the driver who won the USF 2000 championship last year. He'll be on the pole for the for race number 2, which is this afternoon. Porto starting third today for this one. Drivers working their way out of the final corner. It's time to go racing with Indy Pro 2000. Right back at it. Green, green, green. And a good jump for Louis Foster as he'll work his way down into turn number 1. Nolan Siegel on the outside through 1. They're through cleanly so far. This is the big rundown. The first drive up into turn number 2. Foster going to keep it right down to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll make Siegel go to the outside. You can often hold the outside, but Siegel wisely tucks it back down to the bottom. Another driver spinning further back. That's Juven Sundermurthy. He has gone around. Another driver looping as well. So 2 drivers around over in turn number 2. Kiko Porto going to dive to the bottom of the racetrack to see if he can't hold back De Alba. So we'll look for this battle here as they'll work their way down to 4 for the first time. Foster's got some room. The fight actually for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Here's a big move around the outside. So indeed, who is that moving to the bottom? That's Wyatt Prakacic trying to go by Kiko Porto. Prakacic working his way potentially to P4. Not quite. He's into 5th. Jack William Miller scrapping it out right now with Josh Green. So indeed, a lot of aggressive racing on the opening lap, but not surprising. That's the best opportunity to make passes. They do say, you've heard it before, you can't win the race on the opening lap, but you sure can lose it. Yellow flag being displayed. I wonder if potentially Sundermurthy could be beached out in turn number 2. Indeed, there he is. He's the driver who, rolling into the corner, lost the rear end of that Pabst racing machine. And Juven Sundermurthy, who will start 3rd in race number 2 later today, will find himself at the tail of the field. The Hamatro safety crew, once the yellow was displayed, quickly onto the scene. I would expect they'll just try to pull the car out. There's an issue here for Braden Eves, the Ohio driver who calls this racetrack home. Wing damage to the number 4, Braden Eves. Hopefully we get a chance to see the replay of that incident, because you wonder whether or not there might have been some contact from the back as they came into turn number 2. Here it is here. Looks like almost dual spins on the racetrack there. I'm not sure if Eves potentially got in the back, looking for some damage to the wing. Yeah, the wing's already damaged for Eves. You have to think he may have gotten to the back of either Sundermurthy or potentially the other driver falling back, Rhys Gold. Now, Gold started, actually they both started right in front of Eves. Remember, Eves started in the 13th spot, had a fuel pressure issue in qualifying, so he was trying to work his way forward. Nonetheless, a couple of drivers having incidents. Gold able to continue. He'll slot himself down into the 11th spot. We'll try to pick up Rhys Gold there as well. I wonder if there's wing damage on his number 55 Honkos Hollinger racing car as well. Gold, who is 2nd place in points, does not want to see Foster jet away, but potential issue here for Rhys Gold. They'll get that car Sundermurthy back out on track so he can continue. But here's your lineup after the first circuit. Louis Foster with the lead. Siegel 2nd. De Alba up to 3rd. Kiko Porto in 4th spot. Wyatt Prakacic in 5th. It's Jack William Miller in the 6th position. Josh Green 7th, Anam Ahmed 8th, Jordan Missick 9th, Jonathan Brown 10th. Gold still holds on to 11th. Eves, as we know, into pit lane, but I believe is headed back out potentially. Or no, Eves may still be up there. Yeah, Braden Eves may still be on pit lane trying to get that wing changed. And Sundermurthy, of course, as we know, out in the gravel on the outside of turn number 2. Joey Brienza, again, the Exclusive Autosport F1600 driver and 2-time starter so far this year in USF 2000, ahead of what will be a full campaign in 2023. Joey joining me here right now. Let's talk about the opening laps, right? You've come a lot of success in karting. You've had success in F1600. I know we hate seeing an opening yellow flag on an opening lap, but it really is the best opportunity to make a pass. Everything's chaotic. You're side by side. You get a chance to get a couple positions.
Yeah, the opening lap is all about opportunity. It's the best chance to make up as many positions as you possibly can. And my teammate started on pole, held pole, and that's about the best thing. So I'm super pumped for Louis, and having Wyatt and Jack, be 5 and 6 is awesome for the team.
And really, that's the different strategies that are happening, right? That's where I was kind of going with this. Depending on where you are in the grid, you're balancing patience with aggression, right? There's opportunities further back to work forward. You started on the pole position of a lot of races through your young career. Really, all you want to do is make sure you're out of turn number 1 cleanly as the leader, and then really defend or at least hold back your competition in the first big passing opportunity.
Yeah, the key is through turn 1 to build a gap. That's the dream for every single driver.
Right,
you want to go through turn 1 and just have a massive gap and not have to worry about anything. But that does happen very few times. So, yeah, you want to hold them back in the first 1 or 2 passing opportunities, and then, at this track it's keyhole in turn 4. And once you're through those passing opportunities, settle into the race, hit your marks, and just focus forward.
And indeed, some of the racetracks can provide that, like you said, right? You want to if it's a harder first corner, potentially you can get that gap if second and third start battling. Here, really, as long as you settle in, you're just on the throttle through turn number 1 all the way down to 2. Let's have a look at the replay here. Those of you joining us, and look on the big boards if you're trackside here right now. We're going to have a look at the incident coming into turn number 2. And if we have the straight on view, you're going to see, yeah, here they come in here. Let's look and see what we have for contact. A little further back there right now. The other guy's getting through. Right now, coming into the corner. It looks to me like Sundaramurthy was down to the bottom of Rhys Gold, so it was actually contact for Sundaramurthy. I'm not sure where Braden Eves had the wing damage. It didn't appear like it happened in that incident. So indeed what happened, that's why we had the twin pirouettes. Sundaramurthy tucked it to the bottom into turn number 2. His left front makes contact with Rhys Gold's right rear. That sends Sundaramurthy around, and the same thing for Rhys Gold. He goes around as well. So tough one for both of those drivers. Although I think we may be going back to green this time by. Indeed, the pace car is headed to pit lane. We're going green. 2 drivers to the tail of the field, as we said. Sundaramurthy, Eves, and Gold at the back right now, but the green flag has reflown for Louis Foster, and a good jump for him coming out of turn number 14. Good restart there. Eves back on the racetrack, able to just catch up with the tail, so he's done a tremendous job to catch back up. Really had to push on the outlap there after changing the wing. There's your lead for Foster. The battle for second between Siegel and Salvador de Alba. I think de Alba, the most improved driver through the season so far. This is a guy that races and has success, ton of success, running for Jourdain Andretti Autosport in the NASCAR Mexico Series and the Supercopa Series south of the border. So here's a guy that runs big, heavy stock cars. You throw him behind the wheel of these nimble formula cars, and he's done a great job evolving. He's trying to go to the outside, coming through turn number 4. De Alba around the outside, book it. He's through into turn number 5. De Alba goes into second. Doesn't need to defend down to 6 to move De Alba up into the second spot. Siegel slotting into the third position. He comes in P3 in points, so minding his position a little bit, wants to make sure he stays in the fight. He's only 32 points back coming into the race. So again, De Alba up into the second spot. There is Anam Ahmed as well in the white, black, and green cars for Juncos Hollinger Racing, who have traditionally been very good here at Mid-Ohio. Not a good qualifying effort for them. 8th for Rhys Gold, 10th for Ahmed, but Anam has worked his way now up, as we said, a couple of spots. It's actually Kiko Porto running in the 4th position. Kiko Porto, the driver, in the 4th spot. Ahmed works his way now up into 8th, so a couple positions for Ahmed. I'd mistaken his car with the similar livery, not same colors, but similar livery design, diagonal lines on the Road to Indy scholarship car for Kiko Porto, who really has stepped things up as well. Only 2 top 5 finishes for Porto on the season coming into this weekend. But looking to dial things in here. And he'll, again, like I said before, he's going to start second in the race this afternoon, 3rd today. So Kiko Porto doing what he can to potentially leverage the opportunity to work forward. Jack William Miller scrapping further back. He's looking to try to get to the inside of Wyatt Prakacic, who runs 5th. So it's Foster, De Alba, Siegel, Porto, and Prakacic. Miller 6th, Green 7th, Ahmed 8th, Missing 9th, Gold 10th, Eves 11th, Brown 12th, and Sooner Murthy, as we said, not able to continue. You have to wonder whether or not there might have been left front damage after the contact with he and Gold on the entry to turn number 2, the keyhole. Gold looking to try to get around Jordan Missick coming up out of Thunder Valley. Side by side through that corner. That's tough. Not able to get the job done. Had to back out of it a little bit. Right there as well as Braden Eves. So Gold and Eves, both those drivers, multi-time USF 2000 race winners coming up through the road to Indy. They're trying to find a way by the rookie Jordan Missick. Louis Foster, 2.4 seconds up the road already on Salvador de Alba. So this has come exactly the way Foster would have wanted. He had the speed to qualify on pole. All you're hoping for is some battling for second that allows you to stretch away. That's what Joey and I talked about. And I'm sure Joey's sitting down with them in the paddock, having lunch yesterday, whatever, kind of going over what could happen. This is what Louis Foster would have liked to have seen. Battle behind me, I get to pull away.
This is every single racer's dream.
Not just Louis. I love it.
You ask them how you want your race to go starting from pole, and they will literally describe this exact situation to you. Battling behind, and now the race is really in Louis' hands. He's just got to hit his marks and be consistent, and Louis a great driver, so he will. He was very consistent. He's won 3 times this year.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, too, is when you get out front like this, and obviously the people around the racetrack are watching on Road to Indy TV, when you've qualified on the pole and you're out front, this is a beauty of it, because really all you're doing out there right now is turning qualifying laps, right? You got nobody pressuring you. It's hitting your marks, like you said, just like you do in a qualifying session, and you're by yourself on track. You just got to hit all those marks. For Louis Foster, he's got to do what he did in qualifying. Just keep hitting those marks. Car's going to keep getting better. It's going to keep getting lighter. The grip levels are going to come up. So for Louis Foster right now, bang out the laps, 3.3 seconds up. That guy's getting the job done right now.
Yeah, I mean, he was, 6/10 clear the next guy on that lap?
Speed-wise, yeah. 8/10 faster than De Alba on that last lap. Wow. So super quick laps for Louis Foster up front, the British driver for Exclusive Autosport, who, as we have said, has won 3 races in the last 4 events. Wasn't able to get a victory early in the season, but the consistency was there. Laid down 4 straight top 5 finishes, 3 podiums in the first 2 weekends at St. Petersburg and Barber Motorsports Park. Then struggled a bit in the first couple of races of a triple header at Indianapolis. Got taken out in the opening corners of the first race. A little overzealous, trying to go for a pass on Jack William Miller in turn 7 in race 2. Took himself out of that race, but then came back and was able to get the win, his first of the season, in the back end of the triple header. Then won at the Oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park and scored a win at Road America as well. 2 races here this weekend for Indy Pro 2000. It looks to be a potential for 4 wins in 5 races for Louis Foster as he leads them up through to the carousel and back out onto the front straightaway here momentarily. Foster, your leader, out of 14. 3.3 seconds with the gap last time by, and he'll come across the line, the lead now. Waiting 3.7 seconds this time. He was about 4/10 quicker than Salvador de Alba, who is trying to hold off Nolan Siegel, but de Alba with a bit of breathing room, almost a half a second back to Nolan Siegel. Siegel's got Kiko Porto right there. Now those are teammates for D-Force Racing. Siegel at Apollo Alto, California. Porto, the Brazilian, last year's USF 2000 champion, has really started stepping things up here now. This is great for Kiko Porto. Again, coming off not a fantastic weekend at Road America, where he had a 14th and a 12th place finish, a couple of podiums for Kiko, a couple of top 5s for Kiko, finished 4th at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and as well at St. Petersburg. This would be a big win for him, I think, to be able to go onto the podium if he's able to get by Siegel. But still, another top 5 sets up the momentum moving into the second half of the season. Because you and I talked about it already, Joey. Momentum's one thing, but the momentum is fueled by the confidence. When you know you can run in the top 5, especially when you're a young driver, a rookie in the program, when you start banging out those top 5s, it's almost like, yeah, I deserve to be here. I can run with these guys, and it really fuels itself.
Yeah, the confidence is so key. You can do anything you set your mind to. I know it's a cliche and corny saying, but it's the truth. Your brain is super powerful, and you can believe anything, and it works for you and it works against you. If you believe you're not going to have a good race, not going to have a good race.
You're not going to, exactly.
But
I say the same thing about the rain. If you don't like the rain, racing in the rain, you're not going to be good in the rain.
It's the same thing with fitness as well. If you trick your mind to say, I love running, or I love going to the gym, or I think there's a yellow.
We potentially have a yellow flag, maybe a held yellow down in turn number 1. Let's see if we do get a yellow here right now. Joey having a look out here. Not sure if we're going to get the yellow or not. I don't think so. They may have pulled that back in. But let's go back and talk about that. You say trick your mind into loving running. I want to spin this into the fitness side. You drove the F1600 car. How much tougher is it fitness-wise to drive the USF 2000? Is it a tougher car to drive? I know they say jumping from USF 2000 to Indy Pro, you got to hit the gym, bulk up some more.
Yeah, it's a whole new animal. You have downforce now, bigger tires, more mechanical grip,
yep.
more just everything. So yeah, oh man, are you kidding me?
We got the biased guy over here worried about his teammate. Indeed, Louis Foster's lead of 4.5 is gone. Yellow flag being thrown here, I believe. Yeah, we got full course yellow. Not sure why we have the yellow flag here right now, but that lead for Louis Foster is going to evaporate pretty quickly as we come early into this race here right now. 10 laps down, and indeed, yellow flag is flown. I'm not seeing anything around the racetrack with the cameras that we have here right now, so unsure why we've gone yellow. Could be Jonathan Brown in the number 2 machine. We'll try to identify where he is off the racetrack. So the turn 3 motorsport driver looks like it may be on the exit of turn number 1 there. Indeed, he is potentially looped around and maybe high centered on the exit curbing. So Jonathan Brown, the Irish driver, 2019 Formula Ford Festival winner. Yeah, he's indeed off the racetrack on the exit of turn number 1. Yeah, you were definitely going full course yellow there. That's where those drivers are trekking their way out there. So good to see the yellow flag come out. But again, if you're Louis Foster, that's the last thing you want to see. For Miles Rowe in the race we just watched, 2 laps to go. Yellow flag's fine because you're probably going to end the race. But only here at the 3rd mark, 10 down of 30 laps for the drivers here in Indy Pro 2000. Not what he wanted to see, although he handled that restart extremely well. And I'm sure the IndyCar AMR safety crew will be able to get Jonathan Brown's machine taken care of pretty quickly. So that'll be our 2nd yellow of the race. Ewan Sooner-Murthy, as we said, contact with Rhys Gold early. For those behind Louis Foster, this kind of presses the reset button. They watched him kind of stretch away a little bit. De Alba, Siegel, Porto, Prokachik, all with an opportunity now to kind of fight back at it once again. Jack William Miller in 6th spot, Josh Green 7th, Anam Ahmed 8th, Jordan Missig in 9th, Rhys Gold 10th, Braden Eves 11th. Gold and Eves were pushing hard on Missig, but he did not falter at all and was able to hold off those drivers, both of them Indy Pro 2000 race winners. And that's the thing about this particular field. We talked throughout the weekend about just really how competitive it is this year. Yeah, we have 13 drivers in the field, but you look at guys like Foster, multi-time race winner in Europe, Salvador de Alba, champion in the Mexico NASCAR program, Siegel's a winner in both USF 2000 and Indy Pro, Kiko Porto, the USF 2000 champion. Wyatt Prokachik, Jack William Miller, those are 2 drivers that are looking for their first wins here on the road to Indy. It could happen this year, both of them really stepping things up through the second half of the season. As you can see, the pace car is already headed to pit lane, so we will go green next time by. And indeed, out of 14, solid start again for Louis Foster. Salvador de Alba looked very good on the restart as he was able to get by. We know Siegel on the last yellow, so let's see what happens here. He'll get a big run out of turn number 1, trying to reel in Louis Foster. What kind of a lead does he have coming to the keyhole? It's going to be enough to be able to hold the race line. It's going to be at least 2, maybe 3, probably 2.5 car lengths. I like the move there by Josh Green, trying to put some pressure here on Jack William Miller. And when you start single file, it's not quite as easy to get that pass, but you can put a ton of pressure. You can see Josh Green, big run at turn number 2. Key on that red number 40 machine for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports further back. That's Jack William Miller. Yeah, he's going to have to go on the defense right now. He'll come across the bow, but I think to the outside, Josh Green's going to get the job done. Indeed, it looked to me like Miller tried to defend from Anam Ahmed on the inside. That allowed Green to go all the way around the outside. So Josh Green, who was a winner earlier this year at St. Petersburg, currently sitting 6th in points, in drastic need of a good run, moving his way forward now into the top 6. Oh, that's Miller dropping a wheel on the exit, turn number 9. That is so easy to do because the car gets so light coming out of turn 9 as you want it to rotate over a rise, and it drops right off into Thunder Valley. Now he's being challenged big time here, I think, by maybe Jordan Missig. Yeah, Missig in the 19, Gold there as well as Anam Ahmed able to slip through as well. So Green and Ahmed able to get by Jack William Miller. He falls back into 8th position. And Joey Brienza, let's talk about, you said you really liked coming out of the Thunder Valley through turn number 11, that blind left-hander, but man, coming over top of 9, the car gets super light, drops into Thunder Valley. Talk about your experience here. You're not racing here this weekend, but you did test on Thursday. What do you think about turn 9?
Yeah, it's a unique corner because you don't really have it anywhere else except Mid-Ohio, which is what I love about Mid-Ohio. It's, you gotta be prepared to commit to that corner. You can't go in and, as soon as the car gets light, try to back out of everything. You gotta stay pinned and trust your car, trust yourself, and just know that it's temporary. It's not gonna go away on you.
And the thing is, it leads into that Thunder Valley long straightaway as well, right? If you're tentative on the throttle, someone's going to reel you in and potentially get you coming up into turn 11. And we talked about how much Joey loves coming out to Thunder Valley, that blind corner. There they are right now through turn 10, back up the hill, completely blind as you come over top. You trust your line, you trust your entry speed, and as you get to the top, you finish your turn in on the exit. You can see how the exit actually comes back across the racetrack, so essentially a decreasing radius exit at turn number 11. Lead now 1.3 seconds for De Alba. Siegel in the third spot, Kiko Porto fourth, Brkacik fifth, Green sixth. Green about a half a second behind Brkacik, having been able to get by Jack William Miller a couple laps ago. There's your leader, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and back to seventh, which is Anam Ahmed. Scrap still in the back there. Jordan Missing has done everything he can to hold off Gold and Eves. Braden Eves, the former USF 2000 champion. Gold, multi-time race winner in that series as well. Both Eves and Gold have won races here in Indy Pro, and Jordan Missing, a tremendous job here right now. This has been a fantastic race for Wyatt Brkacik, the driver out of Colorado for Exclusive Autosport. This is the best he's run all season, right there in the top 5 right now, and running similar lap times to those in front. Brkacik having a great run, looking to see if he can't keep himself here in the top 5. The opening race of the doubleheader here at Mid-Ohio for Indy Pro 2000. He is, again, as I said, about 0.4 of a second behind Kiko Porto, but turning very similar lap times, actually almost exactly the same as De Alba. So a really good run for Wyatt Brkacik, but he'll have to watch out because Josh Green just dropped down a 119.983. Green trying to reel him in. That would be the battle for P5. Otherwise, second back to seventh, separated pretty much by the same, but a half a second separating everybody. Joey, of course, sighed with disbelief when he saw the yellow flag come out for his teammate Louis Foster up front, but Louis has capitalized on the restart again, a 1.6 second lead. We're at the halfway point when they come back to the stripe here right now. 1.6, as I said. He did a 119.4, and that's the thing. The second fastest lap, a 119.8. Foster 119.4, and it has been really impressive for Foster here this weekend. Mid-Ohio has been a track where we've seen really good results out of Hunko's Hollinger Racing. Exclusive's been good here, but not dominant here, so I think for them, they have to be pretty happy with the way things have played out so far. One of the things about Louis Foster when he first got here, having run different tires in Europe, here out of the Cooper tires, a much different compound, much different construction for the tires that he raced in Europe. He had to kind of spend some time getting a feel for it. Struggled a bit in qualifying. Wasn't up front like he is this weekend because he had to figure out exactly how to maximize those tires. Once they got to the exact optimal temperature and kind of right to the point where you're going to get the best lap out, he just wasn't extracting the most out of it. He was very honest and admitting that he just didn't have a feel for them yet. But that feel really started to hone in when we got to the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway when he qualified on the front row for all 3 races, of course, capitalized and turned that into a race win. Since then, he has looked extremely good, was strong at Road America. Same goes at the Oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and man, he has looked good here as well. Joey, let's talk to you about those tires. So you're running a different tire when you're running your F1600 car. You come here to test the USF 2000 onto the Coopers. How long has it taken for you to potentially get a feel for what they want out of the driver?
Yeah, the tires I run in F1600 are Hoosiers, and the great thing about the Hoosiers is they're very reliable. What you can go in qualifying, oftentimes you can beat it in race 2 or race 3 of the weekend when you have a lot of time on those tires. So they don't wear as much as the Coopers do. The Coopers have a smaller window of operation that you need to get the tires into in qualifying. And it's tough to figure out that window. You need to be on it on those 1 or 2 laps that you get.
And that's the key. That's why those tires are designed like that. Obviously, we want to make sure that you drivers, because when you're moving your way up the ranks, whether it's in Indy Pro, USF 2000, or of course what we see in the IndyCar, where you have to exactly hit that 1 lap. Instead of having that big wide window, you got to make sure you make it happen. So to do that, are you bringing them up to temperature maybe a certain way? Because do you know you had that feel when the tire's there? Do you know that this is the lap I got to make it?
Yeah, you usually have an idea a lap before of like, wow, that lap feel good.
It's
like,
coming. Yeah.
All right, you got to be on it this lap. You know, no mistakes, hit your marks, and just take some deep breaths on the straight and focus on doing you. Focus on hitting your marks, and you don't need to do anything crazy, right? You see people improve second and a half in qualifying, and you think about, wow, like that's around the whole track. No, it's 10th in this corner,
That's
maybe
it.
10th in that corner, and it's part of the issue sometimes is people go, I need to make up 2.5 seconds in these 3 corners, and you end up over driving. So when you think about it from the standpoint of like, you need a 10th here, a 10th there, back it up a little bit, and carry that little more speed, helps you do it on the lap.
Just a little bit here, a little bit there. You'll get that half a second that you need. But again, we talk a lot about this road to Indy being about driver development. We develop them working with engineers, a lot with the media as well. We're doing interviews, whatever it may be. But qualifying is obviously a key component of it. And that's why Cooper Tires, we have those tires designed so that you have that little window, that opportunity when they're absolutely perfect. From there, they stay on for the remainder of the race. They'll fall down a little bit, but you'll see drivers sometimes turn the fast lap of the race near the end of the race. Car gets a bit lighter. The tires still have that consistent run. Indeed, that one little peak, though, in qualifying is what really trains these drivers to be able to perform when that 1 lap comes. Joey talked about the fact that you know at that kind of lap before the car really starts to come in, and you know this is the opportunity for you to make it happen. Up front, Louis Foster leading by 3.2 seconds, 17 laps into a long 30-lap race. And again, another part of the component, right? 20 laps for USF 2000, 30 laps for Indy Pro. They'll go even longer in the Indy Lights program as we continue to push these drivers on their ability to run longer races, their fitness, able to have that reliability throughout the entire long runs. Salvador de Alba doing a tremendous job. He got a win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but that was because of a technical DQ from another driver. He would like to win one on the racetrack. But again, a second-place run here for de Alba, who is kind of working his way up the order right now. He's a little bit behind Josh Green in the points, about 31 points. But man, he's doing a tremendous job here right now, coming off a 3rd-place finish at Road America, looking for a potential 2nd-place finish here today as he's trying to hold off Nolan Siegel. And you can see it's built a little bit of a gap. That's about a second back to Siegel there, who had a little bit of mid-corner oversteer. You see the rear end kicking out on that D-Force racing machine. D-Force running in 3rd and 4th. Nolan Siegel 3rd in the number 8. Kiko Porto in the red, white, and black Road to Indy Scholarship car. Of course, Kiko winning the USF 2000 championship last year and winning over $375,000 to work his way into Indy Pro 2000 here in 2022. We'll see one of the drivers here win this championship and win a scholarship over $650,000 to move to Indy Lights in 2023. Could it be Louis Foster? Right now, a win here would expand his lead significantly over Rhys Gold. It would be over 25 points, the lead, if he's able to at least over 25 points right now. Gold running back in the 9th position could mean an even larger advantage for Foster. And again, he'll take that momentum and confidence into the race this afternoon, where once again, Foster, the Brit, will start on the pole position for Exclusive Autosport. Good lineup of drivers here as well. We've got Exclusive Autosport leading the way for the teams. You've got Salvador de Alba with Jay Howard Driver Development, Siegel and Porto with D-Force Racing, Brkacic with with Exclusive, moving over from Jay Howard at Road America. Brkacic, his 2nd race with Exclusive Autosport in P5. And then, of course, you've got Josh Green with Turn 3 Motorsports and Anam Ahmed with Juncos Racing. So 5 different teams right up there in the top 5 and top 7. Field pretty much spread out right now as drivers are settling in. We'll see lap time wise, if anybody's picking things up and potentially moving forward. Josh Green again, a 1:19.6. Remember, he got down to the 1:19s early, but was trying to put the pressure here on Prikacic, but he's about 0.6 of a second back. Really one of the fastest drivers on the track right now is Rhys Gold. He laid down a 1:19.4 and was actually the second fastest driver on the track behind Foster. So Gold, who is trying to find his way by Jack William Miller, both Gold and Eves finally able to get by the rookie Jordan Missing, moving him down to 11th. So Gold 0.4 of a second behind Jack William Miller, 0.2 quicker last time by. I got to think that's the battle. You see them coming through 4 right now, the red car of Miller and the white, black, and green machine of Gold. That would be for P8. And then in front of Miller is Anam Ahmed, a half a second up the road. That is Gold's teammate at Juncos Hollinger. So that could be the next battle that we see on the racetrack. Is again Rhys Gold, who we've already seen this year score a couple of wins. One at Barber Motorsports Park, one on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Second on the oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park, 6th and 5th at Road America. Gold's got to get back up onto the podium as he could potentially seeing Louis Foster stretch away a little bit here. Let's see what kind of a run Gold gets coming out of turn number 1. He's got Eves right behind him as well. Last time by, you're looking at the lap times, Gold did a 1:20.1. See, there he was down to a 1:19.4. And this plays a bit to this racetrack and a bit towards the design of any of these Formula cars. You'll hear it in IndyCar, Indy Lights, Indy Pro, and maybe not quite as much in USF 2000, but we talked about it earlier. It's the aero wash. You need to have the air rolling over the wings of the car. That's what it's designed for. You need to have all that air. That's where you get the downforce. Well, when you're behind a car following closely, especially through some of the long, radius corners, you lose the air off the front wing. You're losing all that downforce off the front of the car. And then as you're turning, you get that understeer. You get that push through the corner. When you're pushing, you can't get on the throttle. And Joey, I know you've dealt with this many times before as you've got into this car, this USF 2000 car. You don't have that in the F1600. There's no wings, right? It's literally just the car itself. But man, it is big, especially even in these cars here. But when you get behind someone on a long radius corner, it's got to be tough as you're putting more and more wheel into it, and it doesn't want to turn.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about the F1600s is the fact that there's no aero wash. It's just like go-karts. You can follow as close as you want and not lose grip. And then when you move up to USF 2000, you get that aero wash. And through corners like turn 1, you're just not able to carry the same speed that you can to the guy in front because he's got clean air and you have less grip, basically. So it's part of the reason why you see guys struggling to get past. It's not that, lack of trying or they're not pushing hard enough. It's, just the aero wash. And then I have a fun fact for everybody watching the broadcast at home is me and Wyatt Prikacic, not only are we both from Colorado, but we actually went to the same high school, unknowingly.
Seriously. I love that. So there you go. Colorado is another hotbed for racing. And, of course, we see these drivers moving their way forward. Here's a pass a little further back, and I think that might have been Josh Green by Prikacic. You talked about Wyatt, your fellow schoolmate. He ends up losing the spot there. Prikacic can go back to 6. Josh Green able to get a good run out of the keyhole. The big run down the straightaway, and that's where the aero wash obviously doesn't play. As long as you can get through the keyhole with maybe a different line, you diamond the corner up a little bit, you're able to get that run down the straightaway. And that's why turn 4 is the optimum passing opportunity. You get the big, long run. You use the draft. You can come to the inside, and even if the driver blocks to the inside, you can go to the outside and make it stick because, of course, the next corner is then a left-hander. So if you're on the outside, you got the inside line for turn number 5. So good job for Josh Green working his way forward. Started 7th, fell back a couple of spots, but he has clawed his way back up into 5th. So Josh Green for turn 3 Motorsport up to P6. And we are continuing to watch the battles throughout this field. Look at that scrap there right now. That is Siegel on De Alba. So Nolan Siegel not done yet for potentially P2. Let's see if he gets a run out of the keyhole here now. 8 laps remaining and a driver's gone off. That's Jack William Miller overcooking the exit. And Miller's going to lose a couple positions. That is so easy to do coming out of turn number 2. It's an off-camber downhill corner. You're trying to get on the throttle early because you're leading into the longest straightaway on the racetrack, into that primary passing zone we just talked about. And if you get on it too early and the car starts to get away from you, lose that front end, you can find yourself on the other side of the exit curbing, and that's what happened there. 4 wheels off into the grass for Jack William Miller, so he's very likely going to fall back into potentially the 11th or 12th position. We are looking at the fight P1, though, or rather P2 and P3. It's a 6-second lead again for Foster, as he really has things handled here in Indy Pro 2000. He crosses the line as the rest of the field coming through the carousel. But Siegel looks like he's lining up to potentially get by De Alba. But again, that aero wash holds him back through the second half of the racetrack. He's got to get it done in one. He's far enough back in one to be able to carry a lot of speed through there. It's really setting up in turn number 2 to get the job done. That's where it's got to happen. You got to get through the keyhole well and get all that bite on the throttle early. Look, he's within another length again. Tucks it to the inside a bit. De Alba out a bit from the curbing on the inside. Still has that air coming over the front wing. This time you tuck right back in. You don't want the air on the front wing on the straightaway. Get that full draft. Tucking right by the gearbox. Siegel trying to go by De Alba at the end of the back straightaway. Can he make it happen? This time he does not. Again, gets within a length and a half. And to be honest, Kiko Porto closing up a bit here as well, and maybe even Green. Josh Green really turning similar lap times, a little bit quicker than De Alba on that last lap, but not enough to cut into the gap that he has right now, 1.5 seconds back to Kiko Porto. 8 laps remaining. Here's your lineup right now. Foster leading by 6.7. De Alba, Siegel, and Porto all lined up. Green not that far back, as is Prikacic in 6th, Ahmed in 7th, Gold 8th, Eves 9th, Miller 10th, Missig 11th. We know that Jonathan Brown, who got hung up on the curbing on the exit of 1, has lost a lap. He's in 12th. And then Yuvan Sundar-Amurthy, who was out at the start of the race. That is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th crossing the line to put lap number 23 in the books, and they are lining up to see who's going to be on the podium. Will it be De Alba, Siegel, or Porto? Or can Josh Green find some speed over the final couple of laps? Gained a 1/10 of a second there. He's only 1.3 back now. If they start to fight, that could bring Josh Green into the discussion. We'll see how it plays out over the last 7 laps. But the bottom line is this. When you look at the overall championship discussion, Louis Foster, who came into this race with a 19-point lead, potentially able to stretch it away. We'll see how it happens. Another race still to come for Indy Pro. Lots of great racing on track here throughout this day here on Saturday, as we know. Porsche Sprint Challenge ready to come out, still qualifying for Indy Lights. The very top rung of the road to Indy. We watch it very intently in the paddock, because obviously these are the young drivers we've had a chance to see over the last number of years in USF 2000, Indy Pro, the Christian Rasmussens, Hunter McElroy, Stingray Robb, Jacob Abel. Just go through the entire package. Linus Lundqvist, Benjamin Peterson. It's been great to watch these drivers be part of this road to Indy. Josh Green continues to chip away at it. How close is he this time? He was 1.3 back last time. Where is Green behind De Alba, Siegel, and Porto as he's closed up a full 0.3 of a second. Green just a second back with 6 laps to go. Josh Green up on the wheel. Josh joined me up here in the PA booth during the USF 2000 race yesterday, and now getting a chance to get behind the wheel himself. He's got lots of room back to Anam Ahmed. Wyatt Prikacic went back a couple of spots. Tough one there for Wyatt as he was up there battling it out there for Exclusive Autosport, but both Ahmed and Gold get by, as does Braden Eves. So move Prikacic back into 9th position here right now. Nonetheless, showed very well out of the gate. And we'll see Prikacic start from 8th position this afternoon. So Ahmed and Gold, the two Juncos Hollinger racing drivers, into 6th and 7th. What's their long-range pace look like? Could they potentially close up to Josh Green? We'll look at lap times when they get back around. But as you said, Green most definitely closing up on Kiko Porto. Gained about 0.3 of a second on that last lap. The fight is going to be for 2nd and 3rd and 4th to see who the final 2 rungs of the podium belong to, because Foster up the road by 8.2 seconds right now. Again, Foster got off the season to a pretty solid start. 3 podiums in 4 races. Then had a struggle at the start of the weekend in Indianapolis on the road course with a couple of DNFs. But stormed back on race number 3 to get his first race win. Then went on a tear, 3 straight wins. One at Indy, one on the Oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and then won the first race of the doubleheader at Road America. Going to try to back that up here, do exactly the same thing, win that first race of a doubleheader. Here he is all the way going down to the kink into turn 4. Haven't even seen the other drivers. That gap, 8.8 seconds. Green again. Now very similar lap times. In fact, lost a little bit to Porto that last time by. Kiko Porto looking to have another top 5 finish. It's been since the first race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway since he's been top 5, an 8th at the third race at Indy, a 7th on the oval, and a 14th and a 12th at Road America. So this would be a fantastic bounce back for Kiko Porto, currently running in the 4th spot. Braden Eves continues to put the pressure on Rhys Gold. That's 7th and 8th. Kochik 9th, Miller 10th. Jordan Missing 11th, Jonathan Brown in 12th, 1 lap down. Good thing for Yuvan Sundaramurthy was the first driver out of the race over in turn number 2. He'll start the second race of the weekend on the inside of row number 2. It'll be Foster and Porto on row 1, Sundaramurthy and Gold on row 3, Ahmed and Siegel on row 4. 4 laps remaining, 4 to go for Louis Foster, who has stretched the lead now to 9.7 seconds. Everybody else running these 120.1s, 120.2s. Foster just rolled at a 119.3. His fast lap of 118.9 on lap 18. But he is almost a full second faster than everybody. They have got that car dialed in. Foster really connecting with veteran engineer John Hayes, who's been doing this for a number of years, and we've seen Hayes have a lot of success with drivers over the last couple of decades, and really has blended together with Louis Foster. And Joey, let's talk a little bit about that. You know, we don't always talk about the discussion, the connection that you have with your engineer, but that's one of the things that's so crucial. You do it a little bit in karting, obviously. You have a tuner that works on your go-kart. You talk about what you want to do. When you move up into cars, it's a little bit different because the cars are a lot more technically advanced than a kart is. But talk a little bit about you dealing with your engineer, when you're sitting down with and talking about the car itself, talking about what the car's going to do if you make certain changes. When you have a good dialogue, a good language that you have, a shared language, it can really kind of affect the success you have on the racetrack.
Yeah, when you really like your engineer, you both are on the same page. Obviously, Louis and John are doing an amazing job. I mean, you're not leading by 10.7 seconds for nothing.
One thing I always say as well is that it's interesting, as an engineer comes into a relationship knowing that they have success, they know what to do. Here's the race car, you drive it. Once the engineer starts to trust the driver's feedback a little bit more, that's when things really get good, because it's all the data you're getting, but it's still you having to drive the race car. When you start having success and they start trusting you, that takes everything to the next level.
Yeah, when you and your engineer are clicking and they trust you and you trust them, it's almost like nothing can go wrong. No matter what you do, no matter what setup you put on the car, even if it's little changes, you always seem to fully understand that setup and then give your engineer great feedback in exchange. And obviously Louis and John, I know I said this again, but I mean, he's leading by 10.7 seconds.
Yeah, he
That's
is
awesome.
well out front right now. And it's not even just a lead, it's the consistent lap times. He did a 119.3 a couple laps ago. I talked about that. 119.2 on the last lap. Just 3 laps remaining for Louis Foster in that Copart exclusive Autosport number 90. The British driver looking to get yet another victory. It would be his 4th of the season and the 4th of the last 5 as well. He's been the most dominant driver midway through the season. Salvador de Alba. If Foster's the most dominant, I say Salvador de Alba the most improved. He has really picked up what this car needs, this IP22, a status machine. Again, coming out of the NASCAR Mexico Series, the Super Copa Series, running the big, tin top cars, the big NASCAR, heavy NASCAR stock cars, and he has really got a feel for these nimble Formula cars. He had a chance to test here last year. In fact, I interviewed him for IndyCar Radio here last year because he came in with Michel Jourdain, who he races for in Mexico, hooking up with Michael Andretti. Got a chance to test an Andretti Autosport Indy Lights car here at Mid-Ohio last year. They weren't able to put all the funding together to get him into a lights car. That was the initial plan. So they said, hey, let's run Indy Pro 2000. Let's get your feet wet here. We'll keep pushing on the sponsorship side, try to get you in Indy Lights. And what I've seen out of him from the start of the season now to mid-season has been absolutely impressive. A 9th and a 15th at the first race of the year. 15th and 8th in race number 2 at Barber. We're seeing him with the potential right now to really step things up. He was 4th and 3rd at Road America, 2 top 5s. White flag flying for Louis Foster, but again, Salvador de Alba really starting to dial things in here, and again, being pressured aggressively by Siegel. But look at them lining up here. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Green has closed. White flag flying. De Alba runs 2nd. Siegel 3rd. Porto 4th. Green 5th. Another 1.5 back to Ahmed, Gold, and Eves. But can anything happen here for 2nd? Let's see what happens here for Nolan Siegel. He knows that Foster's out there getting more points. In fact, let's go a couple of wide. Here's the big move down to the bottom of the racetrack. Porto's going to try his teammate. They had contact earlier this year. Porto goes to P3. Porto to the bottom. Again, they had contact earlier. Siegel going to the outside. The D-Force team owners are holding their breath. They'll come down the straightaway side by side. Porto to the inside. It'll be Siegel on the outside for P3. This is going to give second to De Alba. And again, it'll be Siegel coming around the bow. Here comes Josh Green to throw it in there as well. Porto trying to get third. Back down the hill. Does he throw it to the bottom? He does not. So Green trying to see if he can't grab fourth from Porto. Some last lap action for Indy Pro 2000. And again, well up the road is Louis Foster as he kind of works his way out here right now. Onto the front straightaway for Foster. Louis Foster will get the win. Twin checkers out, and he is victorious in the opening round of the doubleheader here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Foster wins in Indy Pro 2000. Here comes the remainder of the top 5, top 10. Salvador de Alba with a strong second place finish. Nolan Siegel able to get back around Kiko Porto, so Siegel on the podium in third, Porto in fourth, Josh Green fifth, Anam Ahmed and Rhys Gold, the two Juncos Hollinger cars, finishing in sixth and seventh, Braden Eves eighth, Wyatt Prokachik ninth, Jack William Miller 10th, Jordan Missig and Jonathan Brown rounding out the 12 drivers who are making it to the end of this race. In the end, Louis Foster victorious by 14.56 seconds, and he is well up the road in terms of time as well. Half a second quicker on fast time than Rhys Gold. Put a bonus point there as well. That is a perfect day for Louis Foster. 33 points to allow him to extend his championship margin. Salvador de Alba, a tremendous drive to second. Nolan Siegel going to round out the podium in third. He and his teammate Kiko Porto making things a little dicey, a little exciting over the last lap. Siegel able to go back around Porto coming down into turn 4. Porto ends up in fourth. Green fifth. Ahmed, Gold, Eves, Prokachik, and Miller round out the top 10. Joey Brienza, thank you so much for joining me up here, bud. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you, number one, back in the F1600 car, back at Portland in USF 2000, and in a full season next year.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a good time.
Joey Brienza, again, a young driver from Colorado running for Exclusive Autosport. You'll see him full-time in the series next year. But again, his teammate Louis Foster winning this one. We'll let Joey go and get down to victory lane. There'll be a lot of happy faces down there. Foster, De Alba, and Siegel will be in victory lane. I'll head down there right now. Pass the mic back over to John Phippen. He'll send it down when we're ready. But otherwise, capping off this morning show here on Road to Indy, the app, and of course the Road to Indy TV YouTube channel as well. Stay tuned. We've got the podium celebrations up next. Let's jump into the podium here and start with the driver coming home in third. A solid finish for D-Force Racing, finishing in third, Nolan Siegel. And to present Nolan with his third place trophy, one of our guests from Cooper Tires, Kathy Thomas. Great to have all our Cooper Tire guests out in the pavilion and the exit of turn number 1. Hopefully they'll enjoy themselves throughout this weekend. Kathy going to bring this trophy over for Nolan Siegel. A couple of victories for him already this season, and Nolan right there in the championship battle. Second place run, as I said throughout the broadcast, very likely the most improved driver throughout the season, getting a better feel for this Tatis car coming from the NASCAR Mexico Series and Super Copa program. For Jay Howard Driver Development, another tremendous run, finishing in second place today, Salvador de Alba. Great drive for Salvador. And to present him with his second place trophy, again, one of our guests from Cooper Tires, Barb Orions. Thank you, Barb. We'll bring that trophy into Salvador. Salvador definitely using this result to move himself up the championship battle. He has done a tremendous job. As I said, tested an Indy Lights car here last year and is really dialing things in. But the driver able to get the win today, and it's his fourth win in the last 5 weekends. He's going to extend the point lead for Exclusive Autosport. A round of applause for Louis Foster. Quick chat first, Louis. Obviously, you come in here, an important place. We know this is kind of a turning point in the season normally, starting the second half. You came out of the gate with a couple of poles. You transfer that into a race win. You led by a ton. Overall, it seems like you have a fantastic race car.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Me and John have worked really hard. All the boys are exclusive. Again, I say it's every weekend. We maximize what we've got and gets the job done. So, again, thank you to those boys.
A couple of restarts. Obviously, you had big leads. You lost those. You have to refocus yourself. It seems like the restarts were good. Your laps after the restart, those first circuits were super, super fast. Was the car good when you went back to green?
Yeah, I think the car was basically good throughout. I mean, once I'd got off kind of all the rubber off my tires from being out of the safety car, once that kind of weared away, I got the confidence back to where I knew the car was. So, yeah, from then on, we just started pushing, and I built a gap, and then halfway through the race, I think when I was about 6 seconds ahead, I started to cool off the tires, and then at the end, I went for the fastest lap, which I think we got. So
you start pole again this afternoon, and I know that no team wants to hear this, but can you make that car any better for this afternoon?
Oh, 100%, always. You know, there's never the perfect car. There's, as John says, just the perfect driver. So, yeah, I mean, we'll look at it again. We'll see what the track conditions do. We'll make some tweaks, but, you know, there's nothing major need to be done because the car's amazing.
Nicely done. Jump on top here. We'll get that trophy in here again. Louis Foster, tremendous job today. Foster with the win, and we'll bring that trophy in here for him. Elijah, I think, coming up here to help me out here. Indeed, Elijah Craig is going to present him with his first place trophy. Elijah, hop right up there with him. Hop up there on the podium with him. There you go. Now we're talking. Again, Elijah helping us out here, one of our guests from Cooper Tires. 4 wins in the last 5 races for Louis Foster. We talked about he and engineer John Hayes and how they are clicking right now midway through the season, and they are really getting things done here in Indy Pro 2000. And as I always say, man, can you get the car any better for the second half of the race? And again, as Louis said, it's never a perfect car. You think it's perfect, but one of the things we talked about, too, this track changes so much in terms of just the track itself, temperature-wise, whatever it may be. You know, we're looking at, 76 right now. It was 72 when we started the day. What's it going to be like today when they go racing at 5:55 this afternoon? It could be significantly warmer. It's going to keep heating up throughout the day. A lot more rubber being put down by IndyCar, by Indy Lights, by all the different categories. So even though you have a car that you think was perfect here to start this day and was able to win here in the first 30-lapper, what's it going to be like when this track is so significantly different in the afternoon? So again, wrapping things up here in Victory Lane. We've got a bunch of our guests from Cooper Tires joining us up on here for some photo opportunities. The Porsche Sprint Challenge drivers rolling out here onto the racetrack as well, getting out onto pit lane. Lots more racing for you, of course, throughout this entire weekend here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We'll bring the champagne out for these drivers, of course. We're going to do this all over again. Those of you tuned in to the Road to Indy TV app or Road to Indy TV YouTube channel, remember we're doing it all again this afternoon. I think we're looking at right around a 4:45 start for Road to Indy TV with our pre-show this afternoon. We'll see how that all plays out. Got our group from Kids on Track coming in here as well for a photo op down in Victory Lane. Louis Foster, of course, standing on top of the podium, enjoying the spoils of yet another win and an expansion of his point lead over Nolan Siegel in second, who limited the damage with a third-place run. That battle between Nolan Siegel and his teammate Kiko Porto, I'm sure, gave the D-Force team owners a couple of breaths there, because obviously you don't want to see them battling it out, potentially having contact, knowing that Siegel most definitely in a championship fight still. But again, wrapping things up here, as we said, from Victory Lane, we want to thank those of you tuning into the broadcast. We had back-to-back Road to Indy races for you here in USF 2000 and Indy Pro. And again, we'll do it all again this afternoon, capping things off here. Champagne, I believe, will be the next thing we'll see to finish up our presentation. As I always say, when they have to race one more time on the weekend or on the day, they're probably not going to spray each other with the champagne. That'll happen in the final races of this weekend when they'll go after the race winner and get him nice and doused. Otherwise, we are done right now. Champagne coming in. Louis Foster, tremendous run. Kudos to Miles Rowe as well in USF 2000. Both the drivers who came into the morning here with the point lead, able to extend it. Of course, Rowe with his victory extending over Michael D'Orlando, and this win here for Louis Foster extending his championship lead over Nolan Siegel. Guys, grip it and rip it. Grab those champagne. Let's have the celebration here to cap off for the first race of the doubleheader. Oh, they're going to do just a little clink here, a little class action. They're getting themselves back up on the podium. There they have it, folks. Wrapping things off here for Indy Pro 2000. Thank you so much for tuning in to Road to Indy TV. We'll be back this afternoon for 2 more races here for the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. On behalf of everyone from Anderson Promotions, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.